Hi there, my name's Simon Drew, and welcome to the Practical Stoic Podcast, where I give you practical Stoic advice for modern times. You can support the show by going to patreon.com/Simon Drew. I also do one-on-one mindset coaching, and you can book in your first free consultation by going to risetothegoodlife.com/coaching. On Facebook, you can join my group, the Practical Stoic Mastermind. But for now, enjoy this episode. Hi there, my name's Simon Drew, and welcome to the Practical Stoic Podcast. One of the many benefits that comes from the study and practice of Stoicism is that we become less and less surprised by life's many ups and downs. At first, this idea seems a little bit drab, and it can sound as if Stoicism aims to take the joy out of life, but that's simply not the case. See, life throws many curveballs our way, and yet it also allows us to experience many beautiful moments. Stoicism can help us to take full advantage of the good times and to be completely unaffected in the bad. It can allow us to fully experience all of the wonders that we're presented with, all the while being prepared for the moment when it all may be taken away. See, most people go through life as unconscious beings. They're happy and excited in the good times, and then as soon as something bad happens, their joy goes out the window. Their life is a roller coaster of unconscious emotions, taking a turn over here and doing a loop over there. Stoicism teaches us that we should even things out in order to experience true lasting joy and effectiveness in life. And one of the main ways that we can do that is through the Stoic art of negative visualization. I'd like to share a quote that I believe perfectly describes how we should look at negative visualization. And it comes from Seneca, who said, quote, "I've taken sufficient precautions to ensure that I'm not taken in by deceptive phenomena." At this you'll protest. Can you really say the day that follows never proves me wrong? Surely anything that happens which one didn't know in advance was going to happen proves one wrong. Well, I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know what's capable of happening, and none of this will give rise to any protest on my part. I'm ready for everything. If I'm let off in any way, I'm pleased. The day in question proves me wrong in a sense if it treats me leniently, but even so, not really wrong. For just as I know that anything is capable of happening, so also do I know that it's not bound to happen. So I look for the best and am prepared for the opposite." End quote. Many people get the wrong idea about negative visualization. They see it as a negative view of the world, and they shy away from the idea that we should be preparing ourselves for the worst case scenario. They might say that it's far better to remain positive and to always expect the best to happen. But take a look at anyone who expected only the best to happen in life and was proven wrong, and you'll see someone who was clearly not prepared for life's uncertainties. If you place all of your happiness in the hands of an idea that says that good things will happen always, no matter what, then you're likely to not be happy for very long. I believe that the true essence of negative visualization is provided in the final sentence of that quote that I read, where Seneca said, "I look for the best and am prepared for the opposite." Yes, we should want good things to happen, and we should make the most of those good things when they do happen. But we should always be prepared for the opposite to happen, so that when or if it happens, our virtue and joy can remain intact. But I know that some of you may be asking, well, it's all good to talk about negative visualization, but how do we actually do it? Well, Seneca has provided some more insight for us here. He said, quote, "All the terms of our human lot should be before our eyes. We should be anticipating not merely all that commonly happens, but all that is conceivably capable of happening, if we do not want to be overwhelmed and struck numb by rare events as if they were unprecedented ones. Fortune needs envisaging in a thoroughly comprehensive way." End quote. This quote really shows what I was saying at the start of the episode about how Stoicism can help us to become unsurprised at life's ups and downs. We should be envisaging both the best and the worst case scenarios of our existence. And in doing that, we not only become unsurprised and therefore more effective when they do happen, but we're also better able to fully appreciate the moments in life where things are going well. One example of this might be found in a recent podcast that I listened to where Gary Vaynerchuk, the entrepreneur, said that when he wakes up in the morning, he imagines for a moment that all of the people who are closest to him had died. He then said that this practice helps him to live in the moment and to appreciate his loved ones to the fullest extent. And when I heard this podcast, it made absolute sense to me what he was saying, because what he is practicing is negative visualization, and that truly can allow us to live life to the fullest. And again, when I heard that podcast, I wondered if he knew that this practice was deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy, as I can show in the next quote from Seneca, who said, quote, "We should love all our dear ones, but always with the thought that we have no promise that we may keep them forever, nay, no promise even that we may keep them for long." End quote. So, as we can see here, to the Stoics, it's quite important to make sure that we are always envisioning the unexpected circumstances of life, thus making them expected in our minds. And while some see this as a bad habit that can only lead to anger, for the Stoics, it only leads to a fuller existence. See, there are so many benefits that come from negative visualization, and two of them would be as follows. Firstly, it can really allow us to live to the fullest because we understand the frailty of our existence, and we know that everything that we have right now may be taken away from us, so we better appreciate it right now. And secondly, it can allow us to see potentially harmful or challenging events on the horizon, and then when we know that these things may happen, we can put together a contingency plan so that when or if they do happen, we are absolutely prepared. And before I finish this episode, I wanted to give you a practical tip for how you can use negative visualization today. We've already heard about how you can use negative visualization to live more fully and to experience more joy. But what about using it to get the most out of a potentially challenging situation? Let's say, for example, you have a difficult presentation to do at work in 2 days. First, get a pen and paper. Next, I want you to draw a line down the middle of the page, with one side labeled Possible Dilemmas and the other side labeled Correct Responses. Then I want you to simply fill in the two sides. On the Possible Dilemmas side, you might say things like, the equipment for the slideshow may not be working properly. And then on the Correct Responses side, you might write something like, memorize all the key points so that the slideshow is not necessary if it's not working. See, it's all about envisioning the worst case scenarios of life and then deciding how you can make the most out of those situations should they occur. Or in the case of loved ones dying, for example, how should you live your life now because you know that this will happen? Negative visualization is a powerful technique that can improve your life immensely. And I'd like to encourage you to begin today. I want you to be like Seneca, in that you look for the best and yet are prepared for the opposite. Don't fall into the trap of believing that just because things are good right now, this is how life will always be. Understand that fate will provide you with many challenges in life. And so as a Stoic, it is your responsibility to make the most out of both the good and the not so good times in life. I really hope that negative visualization will be a powerful tool in your life. I'll talk to you next time, but until then, I hope that this episode has helped you on your rise to the good life. Ciao. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Practical Stoic Podcast. I hope it's been valuable for you, and if you'd like to support the show, then you can go to patreon.com/Simon Drew. If you'd like to try mindset coaching with me, then you can book your first free consultation by going to risetothegoodlife.com/coaching. To join the community, just go to Facebook and search for the Practical Stoic Mastermind. The links to all of these places are included in the show notes, but for now, this is Simon Drew signing out.